This is the Nightshade Cult, a podcast macabre.
We bid you welcome. Enter freely and of your own will.
I'm Nick Graham.
And I'm David Graves.
And we'll be your horror hosts for this dissection of James Whale's 1935 science fiction gothic horror, Bride of Frankenstein.
Good evening.
This is the biggie. This is what they say is it's the pinnacle of the universal horror cycle. This is their biggest or most, I don't know.
Most successful or most revered?
Most revered, yeah.
I mean, they did invest a fair bit of money. They made it for about $400,000 at the time, and that's adjusted to about $9 million today, which is kind of small for a movie. $9 million, and they
just spent less on movies.
Sure,
in those days.
It made $2 million, which today adjusted would be about $47 million. So, I mean, I think that the movie industry is much larger now.
Yes,
but also, I mean, this wasn't. I mean, it was by no means unsuccessful. It was pretty successful at the box office. People seemed to like it. It got pretty good reception. I mean, it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Sound in 1936. So that's pretty good. And then later in 98, it was entered into the National Film Registry as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. So this one is well thought of. It's certainly not going to be a 1-star film. Yeah,
and this is, a lot changed between Frankenstein and 31 when the genre is really in its infancy, and James Whale is coming into that basically as a pinch hitter, a replacement for a director exiting the project. This, you see right off the bat, this is a James Whale production. It has a big title card that says it. And Boris Karloff, who was fourth billed in the first movie, now there's a title card that says Karloff as the monster, in huge letters. He's a full-blown movie star at this point.
Yeah, it's you can tell that this is no longer an ambitious small movie that they're hoping will get somewhere. It's
like a tent pole.
Yeah, it's a full thing. It's a big deal, which that's pretty cool. I definitely think it was an improvement over Frankenstein. It was definitely a more watchable film, and I understand why people like it so much. Although it felt like a direct extension, despite some continuity things that didn't quite make sense. It happens right after time-wise, and so it's just it just sort of felt like watching more of the same movie.
Yeah, it is. And we get this sort of framing device of Mary Shelley and Lord Byron and Percy Shelley, and her sort of dropping the information on them. Actually, it didn't end at the windmill. More happened after that. And it sort of makes an attempt, I think, to adapt parts of the book more accurately than the first film did, and just sort of between the two movies, and both of them are only 70 minutes.
Yeah, they're pretty short.
You can do it as a double feature, and it's a pretty good adaptation of the book, the two of them together.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I finished it, and Carrie was like, "Oh, how much longer?" And I was like, "It's done." Yeah, it's barely over an hour, if you take out the credits and everything. No,
these old movies just end. There's never an epilogue. Sometimes there's a prologue, but there's not a denouement. There's nothing like the monster pulls the lever, the tower blows up, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, it just kind of, and obviously we know that there were more movies made after this, so that's not the end of the monster.
No, he proves remarkably hard to kill.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing, I guess, in these movies.
He's fairly indestructible. Being an animated corpse makes you pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I had never seen this movie, so this was my first viewing. Yeah. I had seen the first one, of course, but this one felt like it had obviously a lot of the same DNA with the same director, same monster, etc. But it also did feel like a leveled up creation.
Yeah, and this is, I think, a fully, like when it says it's a James Whale production, he's done for Universal, between Frankenstein and this, he also did The Old Dark House and The Invisible Man. And so he's fully like a star director, like an auteur director, and has total control over this movie. Whereas the first one, it's like he's sneaking his influence in. This one is all his personality.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it was pretty apparent that this was a different animal, but of the same genus. So.
Yeah, exactly. Just the evolution of the yeah. Well, why don't we roll the music and get into the dissection? After narrowly surviving his creation's rampage, the young Baron is eager to move on with his life. Unfortunately for him, an old mentor soon arrives and blackmails him into combining their experiments to create a mate for the monster. All the while, the original creation searches for a refuge where he can find peace.
Yeah, this one felt interesting. The writing direction, how they really leaned in on Dr. Pretorius.
Yeah,
he kind of almost becomes the star of this movie.
He's just so magnetic and compelling and full of personality. Like Henry is the mad scientist, and Dr. Pretorius is the maddest scientist.
Yeah, he's we have a serious but deranged scientist, and then we have like the Willy Wonka of the day.
Yeah.
Like this guy is just crazy.
He's a full-on occultist, and like he
pulls out like the little tube snow globe type things with the shrunken people creations.
His homunculi.
Yeah, that stuff actually surprised me, because like I said, I'd never seen this movie. And I'm like, oh yeah, his friend from the university. I don't know if I remembered that from the first movie or from the book or whatever, but I was aware of Dr. Pretorius.
Yeah. Well, we had Dr. Waldman, who was not a discredited professor from the university. Okay. He's a professor in good standing.
So maybe I was conflating them, but it was just like, and then he starts pulling these things out, and I'm like, really? What the hell? Okay, they just decided that, like, okay, we know some film tricks. We can have people in jars. We know how to do movie magic.
It is, and it's full on like movie magic, because there's this like wide shot of Pretorius's workshop, and Henry and Pretorius are in the background, and in the foreground you have the line of jars with the homunculi in them. And they're all doing stuff. Yeah. Like, they're not little dolls. Like, they're all actively doing things. And it's just a very complicated composite shot. And it's some real movie magic. Like, special effects have come a long way in the 4 years between these movies.
Absolutely. And I think another theme, or I guess that wasn't a theme, that was a decision they made in the writing that I thought was a little odd, to make him the star. I felt like Pretorius was the most notable character.
Yeah, I think he's the antagonist of the story.
Okay.
He's the Mephistopheles to the Henry's Faust.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It's just like, why? Why is it about him?
I think it's because, if you read, and you've read the book lots of times, we've studied this book. Victor Frankenstein does a lot of laying in bed.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a big sad boy, and like basically he's driven at the beginning of the book to create the monster, and then he's driven to get away from the monster. But for most of the movie, he's just really depressed, and he's not an active protagonist or a sympathetic one. So I think Pretorius drives Henry when Henry is just inclined to quit everything. I
can see that. I was also slightly I wouldn't say taken aback, but I was surprised that they actually try to like blend a fair amount of humor into this movie.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of a black comedy.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were going to add black comedy into your description, because it's very present.
Yeah, it's sort of with each successive film, James Whale has put more comedy into his movies. And I don't know how accurate the things that he says the things that Ian McKellen says as James Whale in Gods and Monsters. I don't know how accurate they are, but I think that's very well researched. He felt like the humor was basically a way of separating the people in the know and the squares.
Okay.
Like, he would put these jokes in, and the cool kids get it, and the other people think this is just a monster movie, but the cool kids understand that this is a social commentary.
Oh yeah, it's definitely social commentary in this movie. I thought that was really an interesting decision that I also didn't expect. I would say there were like maybe 3 things I did not expect going into this totally blind. One, of course, was the Dr. Pretorius's big role. The 2 was that this is kind of a comedy, and then the third one is that you barely see the bride.
Oh yeah, she's got like
I thought
8 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, I was like, I thought this movie would be like about her. She's the title character.
Yeah, and the only iconic female universal monster. Like,
and she's cool. Like in her one scene, I was like, oh, she's rad.
Yeah.
Why did it take so long to get here?
Yeah, you almost feel like the prologue with Elsa Lanchester playing Mary Shelley is there to make up for how little the bride is in the film. Like, just to give her some more to do as the title character of the movie.
Yeah, just give her something. And yeah, I definitely think that's... those were the 3 big surprises to me.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. So what we've talked about this already. His name several times. It's directed by James Whale. The screenplay is by William Hurlbut, from a story by William Hurlbut and John L. Balderson. And there was a bunch more contributing writers, including James Whale himself. He nixed the first few versions of the script and hired Balderson to write it. He's a playwright. He hired him to write a version of it, and then it gets massaged a bit more till we get the screenplay that Hurlbut is credited with. Right. But there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen to come up with this.
He's
script.
like, I need more jokes.
Yeah.
I need more Pretorius, and I need less bride.
Right. Well, no, I don't. The bride is that is completely a James Whale insertion, because originally this is more the working title originally was Return of Frankenstein.
Sure, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, and the bride is something that I think James Whale wanted to get into, and also I don't know if you caught in the original Frankenstein, Mary Shelley is credited as Mrs. Percy Shelley.
Huh.
And this one, she gets the full Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley and gets lines. Like, they make a deliberate effort to center her and make it clear that this story originates with this young girl.
She's the author of this story and all of that.
Yeah, and the creator of 2 genres of literature, and very significant figure, and not just the wife of some guy from the 18th century.
If you read about like Percy Shelley, he's kind of like an annoying dude. Like you read about his life and stuff. You're like, man, God, that guy would be an irritating friend to have. Like, but he has a cool wife.
He has a cool wife. Yeah, he's a little bit of a cad, right? Because he leaves his wife for this young girl, perhaps understandably, but he's a rich, Ponzi sort of guy, like the way he's portrayed in this movie, most likely as, just a prancing man in high-waisted pants and with a very interesting wife, like you said.
Yeah, and his middle name is Bish.
Bish.
Yeah. Byss.
Yeah.
H-E, but everyone always just calls him Percy Bitch Shelley. It's like, if your middle name is Bish, you keep that on the DL.
Yeah, that's like the Bish don't kill my vibe.
Yeah, like that's a funny one.
Yeah. So what else we got going for themes? I already mentioned Faust. A lot of queer subtext in this. This is even more so than the first movie, where it's very subtle. Dr. Pretorius is very gay.
Yeah.
Big time. Out and proud.
I mean, was James Whale out as gay, or was he just sort of like...
Yes, he was fully out in a time when that wasn't not a thing. And the guy playing Pretorius, Josh, what's his name? Ernest Thesiger, was sort of, in the same way that he is to Henry, was sort of a dramatic mentor for James Whale. So he's hired his homie, and they're gaying it up. Okay,
I mean, do your thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about social commentary, and I think it's kind of similar to the last movie about how, this idea that the monster, just because something is monstrous doesn't mean that it's evil.
Yeah.
And sometimes evil is not ugly. Sometimes an ugly is not evil. It's like, and the idea that the world is cruel and rejection is the greatest cruelty, those kind of things.
Right.
Those are interesting themes. I don't think they tried overly hard to make this a big political commentary, but it's present in the story.
Yeah, so something that's different between the time of the first movie and this one is the Hays Code.
Oh, yeah.
And so now you're having to get things by the censors. And I'm sort of surprised at like what the censors object to and what they don't object to. I think the censors kind of go for the red meat, and you can put in things that you're going to have to cut. Like there was a scene with Dwight Fry's character killing someone and pinning it on the monster, basically. That was cut out of the film. But then there's like very kind of very kinky bondage stuff with Elizabeth when the Dwight Fry's character gets her, and she's all tied up in a sort of shibari kind of rope bondage thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, this slipped through because in 1935, no one knows anything about bondage unless you're in that community. No one's even aware this is a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure the censors were just like, okay, a lady is tied up.
Yeah, and they're not getting those connotations, but they're like, this is bad. This murder, I recognize this as being bad.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And then Dr. Pretorius saying how he grows his homunculi from seed, that slips right through. Like, that's like, you're like, he makes them from his jizz? Is that what I'm taking from this?
Yeah, they're like sea monkeys, basically.
Yeah. I grow them from seed, like nature does. It's like, whose seed? Like,
I'm just going to assume his.
Yeah. His trademarked Pretorius seed.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think there's, that's really funny. That character is so out there. He just took me out of it took me out of the vibe that this was a horror movie at all.
Yeah.
I just thought of it as a comedy.
Yeah, there's a lot of, if you think of like Rocky Horror, Dr. Frankenfurter is more Dr. Pretorius than he is Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, for sure.
Despite the name, he's taking a lot of his affectation from him. And I just love Pretorius. I love like him picnicking down in the crypt. And he's got a skull and bones kind of piled up there, and he's smoking a cigar and drinking wine and just having a gay old time down in this tomb. And when the monster shows up, he's like, "Oh, I thought I was alone." Like he's not concerned. He doesn't react to the monster at all, really.
Yeah, that's. I think that that character was definitely kind of. It felt like it was kind of an Avatar character, like
a self-insert character. I think that's probably true. Although he is clearly the villain of the story,
sure,
and he doesn't even hide it. He's like, I think it'd be better if we were all devils and no one tried to be good. And So he's like a fully bad guy.
Yeah.
But just a fun one. So there's homages. Even at this early stage in cinema, there is still a before time. And the homages to the German Expressionist films are very strong, particularly Metropolis. In Metropolis, you have, what's her name here? Bridget Helm, that played Maria and then also plays the robot Futura. And you have that same dual role with Elsa Lanchester as the bride and as Mary Shelley.
Yeah.
And her performance is very informed in that sort of robotic movement like Futura has in Metropolis. The sort of robot herky-jerk. It's very similar.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, movie makers are always jerking each other off anyway, so.
Yeah, it's something... how much of first the Expressionists and then the Gothic horror and film noir people in the States, like James Whale is a World War I veteran. I think Murnau, that directed Nosferatu, was a World War I veteran. The Great War informs so much of the macabre imagery that these guys,
for sure,
they're all sort of self-therapizing or self-processing the stuff they went through.
Yeah, they're like going through therapy through art.
Yeah,
you know, they're expressing, you know, their thoughts and excising their demons in this creative way.
Yeah, they're like, this is pretty morbid. It's like, you think this is morbid? You should have been there in the, like the fields of Brussels or whatever, not Brussels, but in Belgium. Yeah, they went through a lot, and they processed it through their art, and it's very interesting.
Absolutely. So do you want to move on to the visuals?
Yeah, I think we're already kind of talking about that a little bit. Yeah.
We got, John Mescal as cinematographer?
Yes, and he's not the same cinematographer as the first film, but I think he's even cranked up the stylized lighting. He called it Rembrandt lighting, where you have a central light and then a low side light, so it's lit like a Rembrandt painting.
Okay.
And so it's very heavily shadowed, and something that's different than the first movie is there's almost, except for in the village sequences, there's no natural light in the whole movie. It's all on stages.
That's interesting. Yeah, I definitely noticed that this movie, it looked similar to the last one, but it felt more polished.
Yeah.
It definitely was less raw. And I think the first movie had a lot of charm in the rawness to some of the scenes, but this definitely felt like a finished product.
Yeah, and it's a fully manufactured world, like in the same way, like Tim Burton movies are.
Yeah.
You know, like, especially like if you're watching like the current season of Wednesday, there's a title card at the beginning that kind of has Thing kind of running through a cemetery, and then the Netflix logo comes up, and it looks like the cemetery from this movie with the sort of the tombstones are all askew.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, oh yeah, like this aesthetic is born here. Like this is when it's reached its full conclusion. Like, we've watched it grow over several movies, and now it is fully formed. This is what this looks like. This what Gothic horror cemetery looks like.
Yeah, and that has, you see that in every modern Gothic horror style. It's just,
it has to homage to this.
Yeah, this is kind of where that all comes from. Yeah, I definitely could tell that the sets and everything were all super well constructed. Like, I really enjoyed the laboratories, just like in the last one.
Yeah.
I thought that all of the electrical equipment and all that stuff, it just looked awesome.
Yeah, and it's just turned up even higher. Like, they've brought Ken Strickfaden is back again making his contraptions, and he has new ones. He's put them, now they're up. We go up onto the roof of the tower.
Oh yeah.
Which before it was like you saw the bed raise up into the roof of the tower and then come back down, but we didn't see what was happening up there. Now we see it. There's kites to kind of catch the electricity.
Yeah, I really liked those kites. It was really cool.
And more sort of Jacob's ladders and electrodes and stuff up there. It's just much more elaborate and more money. There's more money to spend on it. And there's actually costume design is by Vera West. There was no costume designer on the original movie. We're just getting costumes out of the Universal Costume Library, basically. Now we're designing specific costumes. And we have, I think we should mention the hairstylist, Irma Kosley, because the bride's hair is one of the iconic things when you think of the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So now we have a costume designer and we have a hairstylist in addition to the people that we had working on the first movie, like Jack Pierce and Strickfaden.
Yeah, I like that the bride's costume. It's like almost like a death shroud, but it's a gown.
Yeah,
and her hair's got like the white on it with almost a lightning streak through it. It's really cool.
Yeah, so it's a cage that they have Elsa Lanchester's real hair kind of woven around to get the sort of Egyptian headdress shape, and then the white, like you said, the white almost lightning bolt stripe into it, and it's just very evocative. You know, she's born out of lightning, and it's present in her look.
And she lived for less than 10 minutes.
Yeah,
before being blown up.
Yeah, well. That's why it's dangerous to reject a man.
Oh, God, that's why they choose the bear.
Yeah, exactly. Like he just go, she hate me. And he's like, I'd rather we all die than deal with rejection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very mature response. Just destroy everything.
He's like a week old at this point. He's come a long way in a short time and gives up very fast.
Oh yes,
which is why he's wise in his generation, like Dr. Pretorius says.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought that this movie's the look was really good. Like I love the sets, I love the costumes, I love the makeup, the monsters makeup, of course. And that was Jack Pierce doing that makeup.
Yeah, and now there's several phases of it. Because when we first see him, it's immediately after the windmill has collapsed, and the mob disperses. And he's all burned. His hair is singed. And he's got kind of burns on his face. And over the course of the film, his hair grows back.
Yeah, he's definitely got some sort of regen factor. That's his monstrous power.
That's his monstrous power. Even though he's made of dead tissue, he is still healing and responding. And also, Karloff is just noticeably less gaunt than he was in the first movie.
That's true, yeah.
He was much skinnier. Success has been good for him, and he's put on a couple pounds.
Yeah, he's not skipping meals anymore.
Yeah, now he actually eats at real restaurants and not at the commissary at the Universal lot with the tradesmen.
Yeah, I definitely liked how the characters, the makeup for the monster, it showed a lot of attention to detail, how it changed, it evolved. Everything felt extremely intentional.
Yeah, and, all credit to Jack Pierce. I think he has quite a reputation as being a very grumpy man that's hard to work with. Elsa Lanchester was scared of him. She said when you'd go in to sit in the makeup chair, you couldn't say hello to him. He had to say hello to you first because you're coming into his laboratory, and he took himself very, very seriously. He saw himself as the creator of all of these creatures.
He kind of was.
He was. If you think about what has survived of these things, the Wolfman, the look of them is what people know. More people just know the iconography than they know the actual films.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who's steeped in Western culture and pop culture, know, if you show them a picture of the Bride of Frankenstein, they know that's the Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah. But nobody could tell you about the plot of this movie.
That's true.
I am a perfect example of that. I've watched a lot of horror movies, and I've never seen this one, and I've known who the Bride of Frankenstein is since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But the plot of this movie, not so much. I still kind of don't know what the plot is because it's very, I would call it suggestive of a plot. It's sort of like there was a plot and it was having a conversation and this movie was nearby. It's like adjacent to a plot.
Yeah. It is more thematic than it is narrative driven.
Absolutely.
It's just about the vibe.
This movie is very stylistic, but not very substantive.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you mean. I don't agree with that, I don't think, but I understand what you're saying. Because it is not, like, it has a lot to say, but it is saying it through imagery primarily.
Sure.
Yeah. And while we're talking about that, we mentioned the effects earlier. Special photographic effects are by John P. Fulton.
Very fancy.
It is like it is still sort of hard to get your head around how they composited those images together.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, how do they do that with the technology of the time? No computers, you know?
They interact with the homunculi too.
Yeah.
Like Pretorius, like the sort of King Henry figure gets out and tries to get in the jar with the queen, and Pretorius picks him up and puts him in something and then sets like a teacup on top of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, so the composite, just having them there in the jars is relatively easy to figure out, but how they interact with them also through fully just optical effects. This is not, like you said, no computers. The whole thing has to be done in camera through like multiple exposures and mirrors and like very old school technology.
Yeah, this is movie magic.
Yeah. And then that goes on and becomes sort of as the Mad Doctor becomes a subgenre of horror film unto itself, creating little people becomes a key point of that subgenre.
Oh.
Like that's just one of the things Mad Doctors do. They make Frankensteins, they make little people, they swap brains around for some reason. They add extra heads onto bodies. There's just certain things that the Mad Doctor over the years does, and make little homunculi is one of them.
I hadn't really considered that because I haven't delved too deeply into the Mad Doctor subgenre. It's a little niche.
It's wild how many, if you consider that like Gothic horror is in itself a subgenre just of horror more broadly, that Mad Scientist and Mad Doctor is another subgenre within the already subgenre.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Reanimator, you know, that goes on for decades, the Mad Doctor trope.
Absolutely. So you want to move on to audio?
I think so. I think there's no one else to mention there. Like you said, nominated for an Academy Award for audio. The sound supervisor is Gilbert Kurland. The last movie was loud. This one is louder.
And this one, the score's by Franz Waxman. So I said, remember, this is some last episode or last bonus episode. I said one of my problems with the original Frankenstein, it doesn't have a full score. They listened, they took my notes, and they fixed that, and this one has a full score. Yeah, this has music that I associate mentally with traditional horror.
Yeah.
This is very proper, old school. This is what you think of when you think of that, like, old school monster movies. Yeah. This is what it's supposed to sound like. It's an archetype.
Yeah, there's a lot of holding down long notes on the keyboard. There's a lot of strings.
Yeah, strings are very, very prevalent.
Yeah. The James Whale's instruction to Waxman was that none of the themes be resolved. All of the musical motifs go unresolved because the monster is incomplete in his creation, and that's sort of an overarching theme going on here. And so they don't resolve, but they do all convey the character like every character kind of has a musical cue associated with them, and they do convey the personalities and the mood of the character.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it feels like this score was influential on future monster movies.
Well, and this is like the third movie to have a full score. It's so early in even doing this. It's like King Kong. There's something in between. That's 33, and there's something in between them that doesn't have an original score. It has a full score, but it's all classical piees that are arranged for the film.
To the movie.
So this is, at least in the world of horror movies. The Cultists can correct me if in some other genre movies were having full scores, but as far as I know, this is only the third full score and second original score.
Yeah, it's definitely, it feels iconic when you hear it. You're like, oh wow, like I know this because I've heard all of its children.
Yes, exactly. And so now, so when the bride is introduced, there's wedding bells. Mm-hmm. Now you would say that's too on the nose. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you wouldn't do that. But in a world where you've never had a movie score and there's no one before you,
and you're like, hey guys, I have an idea.
She's the Bride of Frankenstein.
And so we're putting wedding bells. Everyone would be like, oh my God.
That's incredible.
They'll know exactly what we mean.
Yeah, it's totally. And there's no, if you did it after this, they go, oh, you're just biting the Bride of Frankenstein. But there's nothing to bite. In 1935, no, there is no one that you can copy from. You're blazing a trail.
Absolutely. Isn't it crazy that it's almost been 100 years?
Yeah.
Jeez.
This is
so old.
If the Cultists have been paying attention, one of the overarching themes of this whole year of podcasts has been anniversaries.
Yes.
And this is the oldest, because this movie is 90 years old. It came out in 1935, and if you are aware, we're wrapping up 2025 currently. So it's been 90 years since this movie came out, almost a century.
I'm sure in 10 years, this video will still be on YouTube. Someone can comment, no, it's been 100 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, correct me. That's what the internet's for, is correcting people when they weren't wrong to begin with.
For sure.
But yeah, what else? Is there anything else to say about it?
I guess part of the sound, it's almost bleeds into performances, which is our next section anyway, is I feel like they almost use supporting character dialogue almost as like a soundscape. Like, for example, Una O'Connor's like super high-pitched screams and Ernest Thessinger's, his kind of almost theater delivery of his lines. These are not just lines delivered. I feel like they're theatrical, and they're intentionally delivered in order to enhance the scene in just a nonverbal way, just sort of vocal way. Yeah,
absolutely. Because what you have here is almost, I think, entirely a cast of British stage actors.
Yeah, a bunch of theater nerds.
Yeah, and all English. So all people that come steeped in Shakespeare. You would have worked, in repertory companies doing Shakespeare. That's how you kind of make your bones. And it is very Shakespearean in the way people just deliver monologues and soliloquies.
Oh, yeah.
And like you brought up Una O'Connor is a total Shakespearean fool character, like Falstaff. Like, she's the working class person that speaks truth to power and provides comic relief.
Yeah,
right.
She's definitely that archetype.
She literally, like, nothing ever happens to her. She spits at the feet of the burgomaster, but nothing happens because she's the fool, and the fool thematically gets away with doing that sort of thing. Yeah,
I really like it. I think that this is well considered in theatrical.
Yeah. So we're talking about performances.
Yeah.
Who do you got first on your list?
I think Boris Karloff probably has to go first.
Karloff,
he's the big name
as the monster. It's such a big thing from the monster question mark, fourth down the list.
Yes.
Originally. Now he's just Karloff.
And and they made the bold decision to make him verbal.
Yes. Karloff was against it.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that all the sympathy came from the fact that he was unable to communicate, and so letting him speak was harmful to the character. I don't agree. I love the monster talking, and I think even though this is really the only movie that he speaks in with an asterisk next to it, I think that people associate this speech with the Frankenstein monster.
I personally, it's no surprise. I would have gone the other way. No surprise that I'm disagreeing with you. I would have gone the other way. I liked it better in the first movie where he was nonverbal. I think that some of the things, like when fire is at him, he's like, stuff like that. That, to me, that's what Frankenstein sounds like.
Okay.
Not like his, vocalizing, yes, but not with speaking. Words. Yeah. I didn't like that so much just because it sounded... obviously, he's only a week old. He doesn't speak very well.
By the end of the movie, he's stringing sentences together.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I thought that it was a weird decision. I'm with Karloff.
Well, but he's very verbal in the books.
Sure.
Yeah.
But this is a different Frankenstein.
It's just a totally different animal.
The book and these two movies are different Frankensteins.
Okay. You're Team Karloff, I'm Team Whale.
Yeah.
I think that they should have continued on with this and he become more verbal as the movies go on. But Whale exits the picture, and soon Karloff exits the picture also after one more movie. And the monster stops talking, goes back to guttural noises.
Yeah, so Frankenstein here, or the monster, we'll call him. The bride is created, and he's like, friend, and then she's like, runs away and stuff, and then like a swan, and then he's like, we belong dead, and kills everybody. Can we say Frankenstein's monster first incel?
I wanted to say that when we did the Kenneth Branagh Frankenstein, because I said he was anti-vax in life and incel in unlife.
Oh man, that's very true.
Yeah, and it is true. Frankenstein's monster is involuntarily celibate.
but being an incel is more than just being involuntary celibate. He's a hater. Yeah. He just decides to destroy himself and everyone else because he's rejected.
Crucially, he does spare Henry and Elizabeth.
That's true.
I don't know why Henry gets the pass.
And that was I read somewhere that was added later, that them running off, them getting away was added after the fact because people didn't like everyone dying.
The sense, I believe this is a Hays Code thing, but Henry was intended to die, and that was Colin Clive's wish. Colin Clive intended for the character to die in the first movie, and really, it's sort of like Harrison Ford in Star Wars. He's like, okay, I'll come back if you kill me. Colin Clive thought that Henry should die, and narratively he should.
I agree. He should die.
Thematically, he needs to die for what he has done. Elizabeth, I'm fine with Elizabeth being spared because she's fully an innocent in the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't
it have been a better little scene? Because you see Henry and Elizabeth running out of the bottom of the tower, whatever. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't just replace Henry with the bride. The bride and Elizabeth are fleeing and they get away.
Yeah,
that would have been better.
And Dr. Pretorius, the hero of the movie.
No, he should no.
But who's going to take care of his homunculi?
The bride, she'll take care of them. She'll drop mealworms in the top of their little thing.
I think they eat just little human foods.
Little tiny sandwiches like those hamster YouTube videos.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's a whole future for if a 2025 Dr. Pretorius, he just does cute YouTube videos where his homunculi eat
food that he's made, and he's cut it into the tiniest little.
Yeah. And there's no dialogue. It's just the ASMR of watching a little Henry VIII eat a tiny hamburger. This is gold. We're giving these ideas away for free. Someone could build this YouTube channel. Next, I've got Colin Clive is Baron Henry Frankenstein.
Yeah, the new Baron. You know,
Yeah.
I liked the original Baron. He was fun, but
The original, he died off screen because that actor IRL passed away in between the two movies. And so we just say Henry's now the Baron. The other Baron died, and we don't get into it.
you know, on the subject of someone passing and not being recast, I almost always prefer that. A recast is sometimes just, that ain't it.
There's 3 recasts in this movie, though.
Sure.
Yeah, it can go either way. So I think sometimes that is the best way to honor someone's performance. And the Baron becomes a redundant character in this one. It's good to have Henry be the Baron.
Yeah,
I
agree. He's not. We don't need an old Baron in this movie. That's already,
and we don't need to explain what happened to him.
he was old as hell.
Yeah,
he died.
He died. The excitement of chasing down the monster and his son being bodily thrown off of the top of a windmill was too much for his old ticker, and he went.
Yeah, drinking a 5th of bourbon and smoking a pipe every night, it got to him.
The gout, that famously gets these people of the upper classes. Yeah, so Colin Clive, it's a much more book accurate version of the character, I think. Running away from what he has wrought. But still, the mania is sort of there when he is pushed to tap into it.
Yeah.
He can become the mad scientist again if he needs to.
He's very Jekyll and Hyde with his... He's either sad boy or mad scientist.
Yeah.
It's back and forth.
Yeah, because he's like, if only we had a fresh heart. And Dwight Fry goes out and murders a woman.
Can I have 1,000 crowns?
Yeah. And he's like, you'll be paid. And he runs off. He goes and murders a woman, gets a fresh heart. Henry is perfectly fine working with it. He doesn't ask any questions until it's already in use.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, wait, where did you get this? You know, and he's like,
I spent 50 crowns?
yeah, I bribed the gendarme. And it's like,
perfect.
Which gendarme? You know, do you know all of them by name? He's like, I'm the Baron of this town. I do. They work for me. Yeah. I like Colin Clive as Henry.
Yeah, he's pretty good. A little boring.
Yes, but a little boring.
A little boring, but he does a good job. He does a good enough job.
Yeah. He's boring, which is why we have to bring in Ernest Schlesinger as Dr. Pretorius to prod him into action.
Just the scene-stealing, flamboyant, campy, sinister, evil scientist.
Yeah. He's that guy that Henry used to hook up with in college. Now Henry is married to a lady, and the old boyfriend shows back up and is like, you can't forget about the stuff we used to do.
We're friends.
Yeah. She's like, who is this man just coming into our bedroom? And he's like, oh, this is my old mentor, Dr. Pretorius. I'm going to go into the night with him now and leave you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. I just love this guy. He's
kind of the star of the movie, aside from Karloff's monster. Other than the monster, this is the main character.
Yeah. I would love to just go and have a wine and a smoke down in the crypt with him. Like, great times.
I'd like to read this guy's journals.
Oh, God. Crimes are committed. He has 2 murderers.
It's an erotic crime thriller.
It's like, actually, it's just my diary.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be amusing.
Yeah. What else is there to say about him, though? We've been talking about him through the whole podcast.
I mean, really, he's the star. He's kind of the most outstanding physical and verbal performance. He's the main dude.
And I think we can agree that he did nothing wrong and didn't deserve to die.
No, this guy, he's a force of nature.
I think.
Do you curse the lightning when it starts a fire?
Yeah, he's so far ahead of modern science. He can grow a brain. He can grow a whole person.
He can jizz in a cup and make a person. What the hell?
Yeah, he's like, this isn't science at all. It's more like black magic.
Absolutely, yeah. It's this guy's hilarious. Like, and he made this movie really funny.
Yeah. Who's your next person?
I got Valerie Hobson as Elizabeth Frankenstein.
Yes. So this is one of the people that is recast. It was the role originates with Mae Clark.
Mae Clark, yeah.
She got into a car accident at some point in between the two, and although her career continues all through the 30s, her star has diminished at this point, and she's kind of been being relegated to lower budget movies. And they made the probably distasteful decision to replace her with a 17-year-old girl, a new, younger model.
Yeah, and I will say, and this is no shade on Valerie Hobson or Mae Clark, these characters, the character of Elizabeth Frankenstein in both movies is so underwritten.
Yeah.
They really just are an auxiliary to Henry Frankenstein. Like, the recasting, I don't agree with it, but generally speaking, this character is not extremely notable because it's so underwritten. It's just a sign of the times.
She basically exists to be a beautiful woman, right? And she's much more, I think, sexualized than Mae Clark was as Elizabeth. We see her a lot in sort of cleavagey nightgowns and things like that. And she just sort of represents thematically, she represents the hetero path, right? For Henry to go and marry this woman and have children the natural way, as opposed to making them with Pretorius.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's already has a child.
Yes, but he's done it in the sinful way with another man. He's supposed to do it in the baby basket of this 17-year-old girl. That is moral.
And I know, it's like you're not, choosing sides, but I'm more on Team Mae Clark. I liked her better.
I think she gave a more naturalistic. Not that anyone gives a naturalistic performance.
No,
this
is all super stylized.
Yes, but a more natural performance than Valerie Hobson's. But I do think Valerie Hobson is good.
Yeah, she's good.
She's good, and she wears the hell out of those nightgowns.
Yeah, she does what she's supposed to do, and she does it well. I just thought that Mae Clark was a preferable Elizabeth.
Yeah. Nowadays, there would be just a million think pieces written about it, and I don't think anyone gave a damn in the 30s.
No, absolutely
They were
not.
just like, oh, you replaced her with a 17-year-old girl. That makes total sense, because who wants to look at an old 27-year-old girl?
Yeah, jeez. Crazy.
Yeah.
So then we got Elsa Lanchester.
Yeah, I've been saying it wrong. Forgive me. Yes, as Mary Shelley and as the bride.
Yeah.
Totally iconic, but almost no screen time.
Yeah, I really like how she looks and performs in her one scene as the bride. I thought that was great. I didn't know that she also played Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, but until I was doing some notes after the fact, and I was like, oh, okay. I liked that portrayal of Mary. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought the framing device was great.
She is the gothy nerd girl archetype, right?
I'm super into that.
Yeah, where she's sitting there doing her needlepoint while the boys kind of ponce around the place, and they're so at her beck and call, and she just commands the whole thing. They're like her little toadies, like they're like Dwight Fry and the other goblin for Dr. Pretorius.
Yeah,
they're her minions.
Yeah, she goes from that portrayal as Mary, and then and she feels like really refined and kind of in control of that of the scene. And then when she's playing the bride, she has this like almost visceral acting, like you mentioned before, kind of the jerky movement. She hisses like a goose almost.
Yeah, oh, totally. That is literally, she said that's what swans do when you get too close to them.
Yeah, and so she goes from this like really poised character to almost kind of like a savage, angry swan, and it's really cool.
Yeah, because swans are beautiful and delicate and ferocious.
Like evil, yeah. You don't get near them.
Yeah. They're also very mean.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like, if you think about it, because this really is the only female universal monster. All respect to Dracula's daughter. We're getting to that movie next year.
God, how far down the line is that?
Literally next year.
Oh, okay. So it's 1936.
Yeah, its 90th anniversary is next year. But I own that movie, and I couldn't pick Dracula's daughter out of the lineup.
I've never seen it, and I'll hold off. I'll wait.
If you showed me a picture of, like, black and white pictures of leading ladies from 1936, I couldn't pick Dracula's daughter out of a lineup unless she had fangs.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's no one compares to the Bride of Frankenstein as far as the iconography.
Yeah, it's a combination of the performance and the wardrobe and makeup.
Yeah, totally.
All three of those people made this character
and the hair.
A cult cinema icon. Yeah, and the hair, of course, the hair.
Yeah,
for sure. So after that, I've got Una O'Connor as Minnie, who we talked about already. She's great.
You do like it. I have been, like, thinking that you were going to hate Una O'Connor so much, and I've been waiting. And
so once I got it,
no hate has come.
Once I got it in my mind that this is a comedy, I was like, okay. She's the fool character.
Yeah.
It's like Pretorius is like your mustache twirling villain.
Yeah.
And this character is the fool.
Yeah.
And so this is a black comedy in my mind. It's a gothic horror black comedy, science fiction mashup, like genre blend. But I just saw Minnie as this is like playing the fool is a time honored position in cinema. So that's just sort of, I reframed it. This movie's not spooky at all. It's not scary.
Yeah.
It's kind of spooky in like sort of a gothy way, but it's
spooky.
not
it's
scary.
Spooky, but it's not scary.
It's not scary at all. And so her performance didn't bother me. If you tried to insert her into like a legitimately like somber toned like horror movie, like a body horror or something, I would be like, come on. But this movie is like almost slapstick.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. It's over the top.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Okay. I agree with that.
And she does a great job at playing this sort of template role.
Yeah. She comments on what's going on to the audience, essentially.
When bullshit has to be called out, there's usually a Shakespearean character that calls it out.
Yeah. She said, like, Dr. Pretorius shows up and she's like, he's a queer looking fellow. And it's like,
yeah, super queer.
Dong. Like, were you picking up on that? You know, and she just like, he thinks he's so important just because he's the burgomaster.
Yeah, like in Romeo and Juliet, there's the maid who is Juliet's lady in waiting, basically, and she does this role.
Yeah,
basically that's what Minnie is in this role. She's the maid from Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, Shakespeare employs this tactic like
constantly in like every play.
Yeah. So next I've got Gavin Gordon as Lord Byron. And let's just pair him up with Douglas Walton as Percy Bysshe Shelley.
Bish.
I would have pronounced that Biche.
Nope, it's Bish.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I'm just making that up.
What a couple of twats.
Yeah,
like, these guys,
they're not my homies.
They are just such like poncy, posh twats.
Yeah,
like,
they're just kind of douchey.
Yeah,
like I don't really like them, but I wouldn't probably hate them. Like if I met them, they're just like ugh.
I'd be happy to be in the entourage of someone like this and get to go to all these beautiful places with them while they just go around drinking themselves stupid and rolling their R's theatrically. It's probably a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But they're shallow, or at least they're portrayed. I know these are both literary titans, so
yeah, of course.
Saying they're shallow, vapid individuals, it's just how they're portrayed. I don't know if that's how they were in real life, but probably.
I mean, yeah. I wonder if they would ever guess that Mary Shelley would be portrayed with more reverence than them.
Yeah, she I mean, she really has. Like, she has had the longer tail, like the longer legacy,
absolutely,
compared to either of them. They're famous in their time, and she's famous for all time.
Yeah, she's eternal at this point.
Yeah. My next one is E. Clive as the burgomaster, replacing Lionel Belmore.
I like just another character.
I like the original burgomaster better, but take it or leave it.
I've got O.P. Heggie as the hermit. He's kind of a nice guy.
Well, yeah, and if you consider, he's the counterpoint. He's the angel to Pretorius's devil.
Yeah,
right?
Because he likes the monster. He can't see. He just kind of cares about. Oh, you can't speak, can you?
Yeah,
and it's like between us, I can't see and you can't speak.
And it just kind of goes to show he's the only one that sort of treats the monster with any sort of empathy and humanity. And in that, whatever amount of time they have together, it's very little screen time, but it may be a considerable amount of story time. The monster makes leaps and bounds, right? Like, his speech increases, his understanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
He becomes much more of a functional human as soon as someone is nice to him and takes some time to work with him, basically. And so when the hunters show up and fuck up their little nest there that they've made in the hermit's cabin, it's all the more tragic because
he was living a good life. They were doing, it was a good thing,
and they weren't bothering anybody. They were just out there praising the Lord, just and smoking cigars.
Being a couple weirdos in a cabin. It's like, why you gotta hate?
Why? I know it's. These two guys show up. The guys that shot the monster earlier show up. Essentially, they're responsible for ruining everything. The cabin is burned down.
Yes.
They drag the old man away from all his whatever meager possessions he had are gone. They ruin his life and feel like they've saved him. Like they rescued him from no danger at all.
Yeah, for sure. They're like, we've saved you by destroying everything and running off your polite guest.
Yeah. Who, I mean, to be fair, has murdered several people at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I give the monster a pass. Except for the girl, which was an accident.
The girl was an accident. Her dad was very on purpose because the dad comes to make sure he's dead in the windmill, and he fully, drowns him, holds him underwater, and drowns him.
That might have been uncalled for.
Yeah, but they did just burn him alive.
It's a different time, right? It's the Middle Ages.
I don't think it was the Middle Ages. It's somehow...
You're right. It's like the 1800s?
It is described as being the 1800s, but everyone either wears Bavarian folk dress or 1930s fashion. Mm-hmm. Like, Henry Frankenstein doesn't wear period dress at all. He just wears, double-breasted suits, and, he looks like it's 1935.
That's true.
But everyone else wears lederhosen and dress like it's anytime Bavaria.
I guess rich people live in the future and poor people live in the past.
Yeah, they live in a never-win of where it's just always folk dress.
Absolutely. So the last one on my list is Dwight Fry as Carl.
Yeah, I mean
he's kind of the Fritz, the Igor.
Yeah. Fritz got killed, but Dwight Fry is eternal, and so he comes back as a new minion. Mm-hmm. But he's got a lesser minion in he's Carl, and he's got Ludwig, who's a minion to the minion.
Oof, that's a terrible thing to be. But when Carl dies, Ludwig's the new minion.
That's true.
Upgrade. He's the understudy.
Do we think Ludwig got out of the tower? When shit just starts popping off, Ludwig's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I got my...
I don't think he was even there.
1,000 crowns out of
Absolutely. He has his 1,000 crowns. He's probably in a whorehouse at that point.
Yeah. I think when the monster storms up on the roof and throws Carl off of it, Ludwig probably just got his stuff and got the hell out at that point.
He's like, I'm rich and there are ladies of the night.
Yes.
I'm out of here.
Ooh, I'm not sticking around to see how this goes.
Yeah. For sure. And I like Dwight Fry. He's fun. He does a really good job.
Yes. So in the mix now, Renfield, Fritz, Carl. Which is the best Dwight Fry?
Oh, I'd still go with Renfield.
I still go Renfield too. Yeah,
Renfield. Yeah. Man, that's like an all-time performance.
It is. It's so that one is iconic. And we can see this is so because there is not a movie called Fritz. There's a movie called Renfield. There's a movie called Igor. There is no movie called Fritz.
Well, and even I'm kind of a vampire fiction lover. Like I'll read even kind of like no-name vampire fiction.
Yeah.
And Renfield is not just a name for a guy. It's a term for vampire toadies or thralls. It's like a thing in vampire literature now. To be a Renfield is a thing.
Who's the better Renfield? Let's go Dwight Fry, Tom Waits in Coppola's Dracula.
Tom Waits is pretty good.
Or Nicholas Hoult in the movie Renfield.
I like that movie. That was fun. But I'm still going to go with Dwight Fry because he's the template.
Yeah.
They're all copying him.
Yeah. He's the first to eat flies and to do all of that stuff. Yeah. Ted Billings is Ludwig, the understudy to the minion.
He's the new Carl.
Yeah, he's the new Carl. And then I've got a bunch more people, but they're not, other than the fact
just tiny roles.
John Carradine is one of the hunters, and he goes on to be quite a movie star. But it's just an uncredited role in this case. But it ends up being retroactively significant that John Carradine plays a hunter.
That he was in this movie, this important movie.
Yeah. So, wrap up. What's your personal highlight?
Man, so there's a few scenes in... So, I will say, I was trying hard to figure out what I liked the best because no single scene stood out to me as like... none of them blew my socks off. Yeah. I was like, okay, this movie's a whole mood and vibe, but like none of this stuff is making me
the
like
individual
go
components.
Crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
So I ended up going with probably the most grimdark moment of the movie was my favorite when he says, "We belong dead."
Oh,
like I love the rejected Frankenstein. It's like his most emotionally kind of profound moment. He has a tear and he's rejected. She's like, she hate me like others. And I love that his final words are "we belong dead." Like that's so grim. It's so dark. And since, like I said, I view this movie as a comedy, it's
a black comedy though.
Dark. Like I was like, okay, that's awesome. Blow everyone up. They went through all this hassle to build you a girlfriend, and she doesn't immediately like you because you look like a chud.
Yeah.
And so you're not even willing to be like, give her a minute. She just got born.
Yeah.
Instead, you're like, we belong dead.
I literally grew her brain from jizz in a jar.
And she has like a dead lady's heart, a murder victim's heart. Yeah. We did this for you, monster. And then he's like, she doesn't like me immediately. You didn't do it right. We all belong dead. Bong.
Yeah.
Pull the lever. It's over. So that was my favorite part. How about you? What's your personal highlight?
That is a great one. That is, it was in the running. And I tack that because that comes on the end of the creation. And
the last 10 minutes of the movie, kind of.
Yeah. And so that was my alternate, but I'm going to go the other way and pick the sentimental heart of the movie, and it's the old man's cabin sequence.
Oh, I thought you were going to have it be like Dr. Pretorius with his like jizz cut.
The deleted scene of Dr. Pretorius milking himself into the cup.
Jeez, Nick, I was talking about all those people in a bottle.
That one didn't get past the censors at the Hays Code. They were like, everything but does he go to a glory hole? Okay. Anyway,
the origin of the term Dr. Pretorius.
This is glorious.
Carl, is that you?
He said, that'll be 10 crowns.
Jeez, that's steep.
Carl's
he's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and he's a gifted individual. Anyways, well, that was quite a tangent. No, the sentimental heart of the movie, The Old Man in the Cabin. It's adapting a sequence from the book. It's much more prolonged in the book because the monster like hides under the pigsty for a long period of time before he goes and interacts with the old man.
Yeah. Doesn't De Niro's character kind of do this?
Yeah. And they've just distilled it down to the core of what needs to happen. The old man shows him empathy and humanity, and the monster cries. Like the old man feeds him, gives him a cigar, and like lays him down to bed and prays with him, and like and it's really beautiful. The old man sort of seems like a saint, like he's wearing robes.
Yeah, he definitely feels kind of angelic.
Yeah, and he just shows like the first kindness that the monsters experience, and they have a wonderful sort of little time together until the hunters show up and the cabin gets burned down and like the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
And the monster literally goes and runs off to the grave. Afterwards, he goes down into a tomb. And I just think, it's the heart of the movie, and it's one of the places where it resembles the book the most, and I think gets at the core of the story. And so that
makes sense. Yeah, that was a really good part of the movie.
Yeah. So what worked for you?
I really like that this was a blend of genres. It's kind of a subversive, sly, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, black comedy with lots of queer coding, and it's got satire, it's got camp, it's got, but it's all trapped in this spooky framework.
Yeah.
I like it. I thought that was what made this movie unique. That's what added to it, added to kind of the first movie. Then the second thing I only have 2 points here, and the second one is that it just looks beautiful. It's an icon of Gothic cinema. Like they really kind of perfected the vibes, and they built these scenes and the sets and the lighting, and it's all put together in a way to where every scene just feels like it just feels just perfect the way it looks. It looks iconic. What about you? What were for you?
So this is kind of the same thing. I said the heightened Gothic grandness of the whole thing. It's all bigger. Like the original movie was very tall. Like the set seemed tall. They are taller in this one.
Yeah.
Everything is just kind of turned to 11. Like when we see her in the kind of the first sequence, she is wearing like this sort of flowing like floor-length nightgown that trails out behind her, and like it's just everything is more is more. It seems to be the motto there. And on that note, there's more monster in this. Like there is more Frankenstein monster action. So as a kid watching this movie gave me more of the stuff I like the stuff where they do a whole passion of the monster. They crucify him, and put him down into a dungeon, and they chain him up, and then he escapes and rampages through the town and kills a bunch of villagers. You just get more Frankenstein's monster action in this movie, and that was always exciting to me as a kid. And then Dr. Pretorius, queer Dr. Pretorius, is so much fun. And like I said, he's the maddest doctor.
Definitely.
He is. He's the sort of like he's the villain of the story, but is the most compelling character at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
What didn't work for you?
So the continuity felt really weird and linked to the first movie. It felt like there were inconsistencies and a strange timeline. It just. It felt like I don't know if it just felt really weird. Like the writing wasn't super tight with regard to continuity
how
and
they
timelines.
Connect to each other. Yeah.
I also think that it's boring. It has a middle act slump. It's just the second act is just yawn. It's just not engaging. Like the beginning of the movie is engaging, the end of the movie is engaging.
What's the second act? What do you
just I don't know, like the whole middle third of the movie. Okay. It's just kind of boring. Like it's like so. It's like a 70-minute movie, and it felt tedious at times. And I'm just like, oof. Move along, get something done. And then the last one, the bride only shows up in the last 8 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Why? She looks so cool and the acting is so good. Why couldn't they make this movie like where she shows up in the first act or even the second act and we get more interactions with her and Frankenstein? I don't care if they choose to reject. I mean, like, obviously she's not in the book. So you're creating fiction here anyway. So do something better. Don't name it The Bride of Frankenstein and then have her show up in the last 8 minutes and then immediately die. It's just like, come on, guys. That was lame. It's truly lame. I wanted a movie about the Bride of Frankenstein when I was going into this as the uninitiated. Yeah. I understood. They got a creator. And there's got to be a lot of Frankenstein stuff, the monster. But I expected there to be more. Yeah. I would say, so one of the fundamental tenets of storytelling is they call it the promise of the premise.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
You have to deliver upon what you promise. Like in Game of Thrones, I hate to go back to the well because George Martin does it by the book.
Yeah.
You promise ice monster bad guys from the north. In the prologue of the first book, if you never get back to ice monster guys from the north, then you have failed on the promise of the premise. This is called The Bride of Frankenstein. Right. You failed. Yeah. You failed. James Whale, bad idea, bad call, bad writing, bad cinema, whatever, bad editing. Okay. They failed. What about you? What didn't work?
I've always bumped up against the homunculi.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even get on that. Why? They're lame. Like, I understand it's movie magic. They're pointless. They mean nothing to the movie.
Well, and so now, like, as a kid, I always thought it was weird. Now, as an adult, so what does Pretorius bring to the table? What does he have that Henry doesn't have? He has the ability to grow organs, right? Because he grows the brain for the bride. It would make, thematically and story-wise, it would make a lot more sense if he had organs, hearts, brains, things he could show, eyeballs that are looking around, and show like he's like, I haven't figured out how to put this all together, but I can make human part. I can grow tissue. I can clone tissue.
Yeah, he can make perfect little people.
Yeah.
So why isn't he making perfect full-size people?
He just can't fit. Yeah. See, it's like, and it exists, I think, fully for the purpose that they have a way of doing it.
Yeah, they wanted to show off.
Yeah. And it is like a feat of movie magic, but it is a story dead end. And when we get to the creation of the bride, the thing that Pretorius has done is grown a brain. And he didn't really demonstrate that. He demonstrated that he could grow little people, which looks more impressive, to the movie viewer, right? Like, especially in 1935, this is a wow, how did they do that thing? But it doesn't serve the story at all. It introduces questions that it doesn't bother to answer.
Yeah.
So I've just always bumped up against that. And, I do get a little annoyed with Minnie. Like, I think
she is a little annoyed sometimes.
There's I appreciate her as the classic Shakespearean fool. I understand there is a theater tradition that she is playing in, but it's just a little too much. Like, there's if we could cut 2 or 3 mini scenes and add in some of the other scenes that got cut, like Carl murdering his uncle, more stuff with Mary Shelley at the beginning, because the censors objected to her cleavage. So a lot of those scenes are trimmed down. I would excise just a little bit of Minnie, not a total deletion, and put in some of the other more drama-driven scenes that were removed from it.
Yeah.
So final thoughts and rating.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
This movie is heavily style over substance. It's absolutely iconic look, and the characters, the monster looks better than he's ever looked. The bride looks amazing. All of the sets are awesome. The sound, everyone's copying the sound after this. It has so much going for it that's like A tier, S tier. It's just so good. And then you're like, well, there isn't really a story. There's a bunch of like inconsistencies and annoying characters that don't really have a point. There's a lot of side tangents that are kind of pointless. And the main title character of the movie doesn't show up until the last 8 minutes, and then she's immediately murdered. What do you do with a movie that's really good, but also like just ridiculously flawed? I don't know. So it's like, it's not a 5-star because it's flawed. It's not. Is it a 4-star? Would I recommend anyone watch this? Maybe. It's pretty darn good. But on the other hand, it has some straight up annoying things. So that makes me think 3. But I also kind of think 4 because it's kind of the best one of this era. And it does just look amazing. And so I fall in that weak sauce 3.5. But I'm going to give it the bump to the 4 for influence. I've done it before. I've said if something is like so madly and wildly influential, it kind of punches above its weight. So I'm going to give Bride a 4 based on its influence factor. What about you?
So I called this last episode that I was going to give this a 5, and I'm going to stick with it. I do absolutely think 4 is justified, and I like that the average that we come up with, me giving a 5 and you giving it a 4, and that puts it in that 4.5, which feels very comfortable.
You can put that on Letterboxd, I guess.
I probably will. No, I'll call it a 5 on Letterboxd because I've got to show. I've got to show my love here. I'm in the bag for this stuff. This is. If you can give Vampire Hunter D a 5, I can give this a 5.
I have notoriously given a couple of 5s that you very much disagree with, and so I'm okay with you giving some of your favorite pets a 5.
I think this movie is so cinematically significant, and you do have to place it in the time that it was made.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a masterpiece for the time.
It's super good.
And it is, it does show as modern as it is obviously a creature of the 1930s. It is not, you couldn't just drop this now and people would be like, I've got questions. They would have some serious reservations about it. So this is usually where you tell us what do other people say?
IMDb gives it a 7.8. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 98%. Oof, holy crap!
Which again, that means 98% of the reviews are positive.
Yeah,
so it could be a lot of 3s.
And then Letterboxd gives it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So like with that IMDb and Letterboxd as 4, I feel pretty justified.
No, I think you're not out of. I don't think you're out of line.
There's some wonkiness with this movie, but let's take a break and then we'll come back with The Vault of Darkness.
Before we delve into the Vault of Darkness, we ask that all initiates of the cult follow us on your favorite social media platforms at Nightshade Cult.
If you've enjoyed this content, help us grow the cult by sharing it with like-minded people and leave a review wherever you listen. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, and you guys are doing a great job of that.
For sure.
And we really appreciate even just, when you just drop in a little comment or a suggestion, things you want us to cover.
Or even just say, Nick's wrong, or this sucks.
That movie sucks.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. That's fine. Just say that comment.
It's crazy. We're recording this on September 1st, Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to the Cultists. And we had a new episode come out today. And we're very seldom this far ahead of what is releasing. And so it's weird to both be, I was like buttoning up my notes for this podcast at the same time that I was doing the social media for the September 1st episode.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're living in the future, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have any dark tidings?
This isn't really spooky related, but I was excited for it. Peacemaker season 2 is out, and it's really funny.
Are you watching that?
It's ridiculous. It's like so over the top. That's Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Season 1 was over the top ridiculous. So, yeah.
It is. And,
it's like weird slapstick superhero dark comedy.
Yeah. It is totally like it is so hyper violent, like maybe even more so than the first season.
Yeah.
And more hornier than the first season. There's a full on orgy.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's like, what is happening? He's like, I was sad, so I invited some people over. And you didn't invite your best friend?
Yeah. Gotta love Vigilante.
Yeah, I do like Vigilante. He's like, it's not that I wanted to come here and have sex. It's that I wanted to come here and experience it with my best friend.
Yeah, he goes, I don't quote unquote like sex.
Pretty funny. I like that.
Yeah, I agree. I also am enjoying Peacemaker. I was going to say, and this will be completely stale news by the time this episode drops. But Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein premiered at the Venice Film Festival and received a 15-minute standing ovation.
Wow.
It has, you were kind of filling me in on some of the negative reviews, but it's sitting at a comfortable 77% fresh.
That's fresh.
On Rotten Tomatoes. And, we'll be covering this very soon. So I'm just looking forward to this movie even more so now.
Only the rubes don't like it.
Yeah, I think you just show that you don't know what's cool when you say you don't like the movie.
Exactly.
So what are you pulling out of the vault?
So I've been reading a new book and a new book series. I just finished the first one and started the second one. That was, in this case, I can't even say someone recommended it to me. The algorithm recommended.
The algorithm served it up,
and it worked. It was really good. It's called Electric Angel by Plum Parrot. Huh. It is a series called Cyber Dreams. This is book 1. And this is a cyberpunk lit RPG series that has its origins on Royal Road, just like Dungeon Crawler Carl is a lit RPG. This is way less lit RPG. It's way more just kind of a cyberpunk story about this lady who it's about a character named Juliet who she stumbles upon a botched kidnapping where the victim is like mortally wounded essentially, and he passes off to her this a stolen AI personal computer chip. They call it a PAI, but this is like a hyper advanced stolen chip. He passes it on to her, and she's all of a sudden this kind of, I guess, an everyman or every woman character who now has this crazy advanced AI chip in their brain, and it's sort of her story of entering the world of a cyberpunk kind of on the run outlaw. Cool character. I really enjoy the writing. I enjoy the narration. I enjoy this sort of I guess I think of it as long form storytelling, because the author really lets the character breathe. Like she kind of talks through all of her like the decisions and the conclusions that she's making, because she's got this AI and she's sort of talking with it. It's a great narrative device.
Right.
And I'm just really enjoying it. I just started book 2, and I recommend, if you like cyberpunk stories and you like the idea of a sort of a regular person character delving into the underworld in a sort of a dystopian future. Check it out. It's called Electric Angel by Plum Parrot, which is a pseudonym. I should have written the real name, but this is what it's published under, so that's good enough.
Okay. Yeah, here I found it. Electric Angel.
Yeah, so what do you got? What are you pulling out of the vault?
I'm also pulling a book out of the vault.
Nice.
It is it is tangentially linked in a way that makes sense to me to what we're talking about today. And this is the book Tearing Down the Orange Curtain, How Punk Rock Brought Orange County to the World by Nate Jackson and Daniel Cohn. And yes, that doesn't seem like that has anything to do with Universal Monsters unless you...
Mine doesn't either, so
unless
there you
you've
go.
been to like a punk show in Orange County or Southern California generally ever, and just see what a presence the Universal Monsters have in that scene. There's going to be like several like Chicana rock punkabilly girls with the Bride of Frankenstein on the back of their vests at any sort of punk show in Orange County. So anyways, this is they say the untold story of Orange County punk, the loud rebellious force behind the 90s explosion of the Orange County music scene. It's an oral history. It's this is the sort of thing I go to constantly. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite bands of all time is Social Distortion. And because they were relatively late in the first wave of American hardcore, and most of their time, like most of their active time, actually takes place after, generally any sort of book on the scene would have ended. This book fills in a lot of gaps that you don't have in any of the other books. Like if you're reading We Have the Neutron Bomb or American Hardcore, they end kind of right as Social Distortion is beginning. Yeah. And so it just sort of it follows from the early days of punk rock in the late 70s up to modern times. It kind of the epilogue of the book is focused a lot on the No Values Festival, which happened last year, and I went to. Oh, cool. And so it fills in a space of sort of punk rock history that most of the books don't bother to cover. This book had kind of just come out when I was in Vegas for the Punk Rock Bowling Festival this past summer. And I was seeing it everywhere. So as soon as it became available on Audible as an audiobook, I was like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to get this for a couple months. And I just thought it was really good. You can read it in paper like a caveman or on your Kindle, or it's also available as an audiobook.
We'd like to thank you for joining the Nightshade Cult.
And until we meet again, we're wishing you unpleasant dreams.